Today, I'll focus on how entrepreneurs decide which business opportunities are worth pursuing. This foundational lecture in business plan development introduces the frameworks, mindsets, and strategic tools that support those decisions. We'll consider how to evaluate opportunities thoughtfully, prioritize the most promising options, and move forward with greater confidence. The goal is not simply to generate ideas, but to develop a disciplined approach for judging their potential and deciding where time, energy, and resources should be invested. A business opportunity is more than a promising idea. It exists when there's a meaningful gap in the market and a realistic way to address that gap profitably. I evaluate an opportunity through 3 questions. First, is it desirable? Do customers genuinely want or need solution? Second, is it feasible? Can we actually build it or deliver it effectively? And third, is it viable? Can a sustainable business model support over time? All 3 conditions need to work together. Strength in only 1 or 2 is enough. Opportunities rarely appear out of nowhere. They usually emerge when we pay close attention to 3 sources. First, market observation helps us notice changing trends, shifting consumer behavior, and frustrations that existing solutions have not addressed. Second, technological change opens new possibilities, especially when familiar tools are applied in unfamiliar contexts. Finally, industry expertise reveals inefficiencies that outsiders may overlook. The strongest opportunities often sit at the intersection of these insights, where a real need meets a practical way to create something valuable and difficult to replicate. Not every opportunity deserves the same level of investment. This evaluation framework gives me a disciplined way to compare possibilities before committing valuable resources, time, or attention. Rather than being persuaded by one attractive feature, I look for opportunities that demonstrate strength across all 4 dimensions. That balance matters because a promising idea can still be a poor choice if it falls short in other areas. The goal is to focus on opportunities with broad, consistent potential, and to make decisions that are deliberate rather than reactive. When evaluating an opportunity, I find it useful to distinguish among 3 core approaches. Create means developing something entirely new, which can offer significant upside but also carries the greatest uncertainty. Improve starts with an existing solution and makes it better, more affordable, faster, or more accessible to an overlooked audience. Transfer takes a business model that has already worked somewhere else and applies it in a new industry or market. In practice, many successful startups rely on improvement or transfer rather than truly radical innovation. When assessing market attractiveness, I begin by sizing the opportunity at 3 distinct levels. TAM, or total addressable market, represents the full global demand. SAM, or serviceable addressable market, narrows that down to the portion our business model can actually reach. SWAM, or serviceable obtainable market, is the realistic near-term target. SOM is the most important measure for strategic credibility. Investors and partners scrutinize it closely because it shows whether we understand our market, our capabilities, and the path to achieving meaningful traction. Competitive analysis is not about fearing rivals. It's about understanding where we can build a position that others cannot easily copy. Direct competitors offer a similar solution to the same customers, so we should examine their pricing, positioning, and weaknesses. Indirect competitors matter just as much because customers may rely on alternatives, including spreadsheets, manual processes, or other workarounds. Finally, we need to define our moat, the sustainable advantage that protects us over time, such as network effects, proprietary technology, brand strength, switching costs, or lower operating costs. Entrepreneur Opportunity Fit is about matching the opportunity to your actual strengths, motivations, and circumstances. The best opportunity for someone else may be the worst one for you. Before committing, assess whether you have relevant skills or experience in the domain, and whether you genuinely care about the problem enough to persist through adversity. Also consider your access to the networks, customers, or partners the opportunity requires. Finally, ask whether you can tolerate the specific risks involved. Honest self-assessment helps prevent costly misalignment later. Identifying opportunity is only the beginning. The next step is to turn that opportunity into a clear, testable hypothesis about what might work and why. From there, we gather evidence through focus experiments, using what we learn to confirm, refine, or challenge the original idea. The goal is to validate assumptions before committing to a full business plan. This lean approach helps us avoid investing time, capital, and momentum in an elaborate strategy that has not yet been tested in the real world. When evaluating an opportunity, 3 mistakes repeatedly lead teams off course. First, falling in love with the idea can make us ignore evidence that challenges it, so we need to separate our identity from the concept. Second, skipping customer discovery means assuming we know what people want without actually speaking with them. That is the most common cause of startup failure. Finally, market size alone is not enough. A huge market only matters if we have a credible way to capture a defensible share of it. The key takeaway is that a promising idea is not automatically a real opportunity. I need to align desirability, feasibility, and viability, choose my approach deliberately, and evaluate market potential, advantage, fit, and finances. Then I should test assumptions with lean experiments, using evidence to make an informed decision.